Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Chris with InsideTheU, back here for another spring practice report. Today we were able to watch about 45 minutes of the 8th spring practice. I will get into some of my observations, as well as some information from the interviews after practice with defensive lineman Chance Williams, Jafari Harvey, offensive lineman Jakai Clark, and Justice Oluwaseun. Let's get into some big plays today. You know, I thought there were some really good throws that Tyler Van Dyke made today, particularly in red zone. They were working on some 20 yards and in, some 25 yards out, you know, stuff like that. I thought that Van Dyke led the offense pretty well. There was a throw in particular I thought he did really well on. He threw to Keyshawn Smith on a touchdown, thrown to that near pylon, and I thought that was good. Once again, this is something that I've talked about throughout spring, but they are taking some stuff that they do in drill work that we watch earlier in practice, and then they translate that into some games, some 11-on-11 action. And that's exactly what I saw with the wide receivers, with Van Dyke, Smith on that catch. They were working on those red zone catches, make the catches right inside the inside pylon, that front pylon there. And then, like I said, they were able to translate that, and I think that's good. They worked on a lot of red zone stuff. Shout out to everybody that's watched the practice drill information already, the videos I've shown. But today I'll have some videos on this drill that I'm talking about, as the wide receivers really worked on their positioning, making the catch obviously, but really coming down with the ball in the red zone on some tight situations, as well as the quarterbacks making some good throws. So there's some things there that I saw in particular. So it's good the wide receivers are getting involved, scoring touchdowns, and Keyshawn beat DJ Ivy on that play there. DJ came back later on in this 11-on-11 action, had a nice deflection guarding Henry Parrish, the running back there. Didn't allow him to get forward progress. But also they're getting the tight ends involved. In particular, I saw Jaleel Skinner heavily involved today. Caught a nice touchdown over the middle on this red zone drill that I'm talking about. But also there was a play I thought Jaleel could have made another play downfield. He was wide open. Tyler did a good job of showing patience, let the route develop. Jaleel just didn't come down with it. He was either tired from running multiple routes or whatever it might be. I just thought he could have attacked it a little bit better, could have come down with another touchdown. You just can't be content with scoring once. You got to keep piling it on. So I think the coaches will get on Jaleel about that. Just make sure he's always taking advantage of every rep. But it was just good that the tight ends are involved, as well as the wide receivers. You know, overall, the offense is looking good. Had another good day today. I think they're outperforming the defense, particularly today. I touched on the red zone offense with scoring touchdowns. Also, I thought they did a good job with the running backs. I don't talk a lot about the running backs sometimes because we don't always get to see them in full drills in terms of going against a defense, and that's really where the running backs excel in. They have to be able to withstand contact, make plays, make guys miss. And we've just not seen a bunch of that. We've seen drills, obviously, but with the running backs today, in particular, I want to talk about Henry Parrish. I think he's going to be a guy that's very important to this offense because his ability to run out of shotgun is very important in this offense, it looks like, as well as his ability to catch passes. And I think that's going to be important for a running back in this offense, that you've got to be able to be a multi-dimensional threat in running the ball and attacking with catches. And I think Henry's doing a good job of that. And Henry's also able, that he showed today, that he's able to run in between the tackles, which is certainly important because you can't just have a guy out there only catching passes. You've got to be able to do different things. And with that, so Henry had a good day. I thought he had some good 10-yard runs, some chunk plays there, some plays that would have been touchdowns even if it was full contact. And also too, you know, Thad Franklin, you know, maybe he's a bigger back. He's not as dynamic in the passing game, but certainly he did a good job today, running up the middle, finishing off tackles, finishing off runs, coming in that shotgun formation. And I think that's very important for Thad to find a role on this team, because if they're going to run that formation a lot, if they're going to expect their running backs to be able to run as well as catch, you know, a guy like Thad's got to be able to excel. And certainly today I thought he did a good job of that. You know, and when I talk about the offense, certainly they're making a lot of plays, and what I'm seeing is the defense is kind of struggling at all three levels. You know, they're not getting enough pressure for the most part on the defensive line. Linebackers are really struggling to provide either pressure or to get out and guard guys, or to contain the running game. And the defensive backs, I don't think they're making enough big plays. So I think all three levels can certainly improve. Practice 8, we'll see how it continues moving forward. They do have some scrimmages coming up, so certainly that will be an opportunity for these guys to make plays. But, you know, I do want to mention that, you know, some defensive drills that I was watching today. I was watching the defensive backs quite a bit. with the, kind of circling back on some drills some position groups that I've already focused on, but I definitely want to go back and make sure watching these guys really focusing on them more than once. But I do want to mention, Malik Curtis had a nice pass breakup, pass intended for Michael Redding III there, a pass by Jake Garcia. So good play by Malik there. Jake's kind of struggling a little bit in terms of that second team offense. The first team offense is doing really good. Sometimes Jake is having a lot of pressure with the offensive line, not holding up as well as they need to. Sometimes his throws are a little off. Sometimes the wide receivers aren't the caliber of wide receivers that the first team unit is getting. So Jake's kind of made some plays, but sometimes, they're not as productive as the first team offense. Particularly with that second team offensive line, I do want to mention, I thought it was good seeing Jaylen Rivers out there. He's a guy that's been limited throughout the spring, but he was out there today playing left guard, and certainly it's just good to get him back because he certainly figures to be one of those top guys when the season comes around. One of the things that the offensive linemen are really talking a lot about today after practice, they've talked about it all spring. We've heard this from a lot of players, but just the amount of teaching that Coach Alex Mirabal is doing with the offensive line. The players seem to be really taken to the new coaching style, that these guys are the new coaching staff, and the emphasis in terms of teaching. That sounds like the players are always taking notes. They're doing a good job of just being receptive, and the coaches have said that they've done a really good job of kind of embracing and buying in, is the term that they use. So it sounds like the players are doing everything they can to kind of impress these new coaches. It's not surprising. There's a lot of guys on this team that are looking to prove themselves. There's a lot of guys that are still waiting to break out. They're fighting for roles. There's not a lot of guys with established roles already. So it's not surprising to hear these players doing whatever they can to impress the new coaching staff. And another thing with the coaching staff, we're hearing about the teaching quite a bit. But today at practice, it's just very evident. You come out here, it's been like this all spring, but there's a lot of energy from the coaching staff. From anybody that's out here working drills or anything like that, they're bringing a lot of energy. You're hearing the coaches on both sides of the ball, all position groups, and it's not just one group or another. It's just everybody. There's a lot of energy, and the players, I think it's going to be a transition that they'll have to get used to, because eventually you want your players to be very energetic and loud and really lead in the drills, and I think that will come in time. But right now it's a lot of voices with the coaches. Justice was saying today that he likes Coach Mirabal's energy. He says he feels the same way. He's that kind of a guy. Also made note that Logan Sagapalo, a transfer from Oregon, is one of the most energetic guys on the offensive line. So that's good to see. He's a guy that's always congratulating the players after they make a big play. So good to see. Hopefully that can rub off more on other players. There were a couple other notes that I don't want to forget about that I took down, and I want to make sure I relay those to you guys. And that's a nice play by Jake Garcia. Did throw a touchdown to Khalil Brantley, a nice play in the red zone. I left that out accidentally earlier, but Brantley, a nice play there. He's definitely getting involved more and more as the spring goes along. And then another thing, Chance Williams after practice today in the interviews, and this is not just Chance saying it, he was asked about, because he's talked about it's very important under Coach Cristobal to be on time. Basically, you got to be early is on time is kind of the motto that they go by. But one of the follow-up was, look, are there guys, you don't have to name names, but are there guys that have been late, that this has just been an adjustment? And Chance said it's not happening, and he's not the only one. Other players have said this too, that the players are doing a good job of listening to their coaches and understanding if there's new rules in place, that they're following the orders or the guidelines or what's expected of them. So that's definitely good to hear as these players make the transition to a new coaching staff. So I'm going to wrap this up. Definitely, like I said, check out highlights. I have some wide receiver red zone stuff that I'll be posting to the channel, as well as some defensive back stuff, some more detailed stuff, really get into some more footwork drills, and also just making sure the right technique is being used, in the defensive backs while they're, being taught there. So I want to thank everybody for watching. Hopefully you have a good rest of the day, and take care.